Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Cycle on Global Television, live in the nation's capital, Abuja. I'm Queen Agaba. Former Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Sadiya Umar Farouk, has alleged that some people were linking her to a purported investigation by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, into the activities of James Okwete. In a statement titled "The Attack on My Person," posted via her X handle on Christmas Day, Farouk said such unfounded allegations were malicious attacks on her person and vowed to take legal actions while saying she knew nothing about Okwete. The ex-minister also said she was proud to have served the country. And some hours after the death of Governor Rotimi Akeredolu and the swearing-in of Lucky Aiyedatiwa as the substantive governor of Ondo State, a commissioner and 2 aides of the former governor have resigned their appointment. Those who resigned on Thursday are the Commissioner for Infrastructure, Lands and Housing, Aminu Raimi, the Special Assistant on Photography to the former governor, Olawale Abolade, and the Senior Special Assistant to Akeredolu on Special Duties and Strategy, Doyin Odebowale. In his letter of resignation addressed to the Office of the Secretary to the State Government, made available to newsmen on Thursday, the former commissioner said he followed his conscience as the reason for his action. The Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, Federal Capital Territory Command, has arrested 82 suspected vandals and 22 illegal miners from August till date. The FCT commandant of the NSCDC, Olushola Odumosu, gave the figures during an interview with the news agency of Nigeria on Thursday in Abuja. Odumosu said that 20 suspects were arrested in connection with manhole cover thefts and vandalism of critical national assets and infrastructure. He said that 5 suspects were arrested in September for alleged vandalism of electrical cables, 14 for alleged vandalism of other public property, and 2 others for alleged television theft. The commandant says that the other suspects include 28 persons nabbed for alleged railway vandalism and destruction of other critical national assets. In a related development, the Managing Director of Nigerian Railway Corporation, NRC, Fidet Okiria, says that the corporation lost over 150,000 rail clips due to constant vandalism along railway tracks across the country between 2022 and 2023. Okiria disclosed the end-of-the-year media briefing in Lagos on Thursday. He said that over 50,000 clips each had been vandalized between Lagos to Ibadan, Warri to Itakpe, and Abuja to Kaduna standard gauge tracks between 2022 and 2023. Okira says that the corporation had engaged in constant sensitization to communities where the vandalism took place to make them realize the implication of the act to the growth of rail networking in the country. Abia State Governor Alex Otti has signed the 2024 appropriation bill of 567.2 billion recently passed by the State House of Assembly into law. While signing the bill on Thursday, Otti said the 2024 budget would move Abia from its current level of underdevelopment to development. He noted that the budget ratio of 84% for capital expenditure and 16% for recurrent expenditure was not a mistake, but a deliberate plan to accelerate the growth of Abia's economy within a short space of time. The governor maintains that every money borrowed to finance the budget would be channeled to capital expenditure, adding that the budget is expected to excite foreign and local investment for large-scale and medium businesses, secure the state, and prepare Abia for the next level of development. The Kano State Police Command has arrested 9 suspects who specialized in interstate trafficking, abduction, buying, and selling of minors. The State Commissioner of Police, Hussaini Gumel, disclosed this while parading the suspects at the Bampai Command headquarters on Thursday. He explained that the suspects were apprehended after conducting several intelligence-led operations through which the long-time cycle of interstate trafficking syndicates hibernating around Kano, Bauchi, Gombe, Lagos, Delta, Anambra and Imo State were identified and dismantled. According to Gumel, 7 victims, who were mostly minors, were rescued from the suspect. Meanwhile, the chairman of the Police Service Commission, Solomon Arashe, has called for a total overhaul of the police constabulary system in the country. This is as Arashe called for urgent measures to differentiate the special constabulary from regular police officers. Arashe, retired Inspector General of Police, made the call in a statement issued on Thursday by the Commission's spokesperson, Ikechukwu Ani. He said there should be a clear definition of their operations, including uniforms and rules of engagement. According to Arashe, the Police Service Commission is no longer comfortable with the organization and operations of the Special Police Constabulary nationwide. On the foreign scene, the Israeli embassy in South Korea has removed a video showing an imaginary scenario in which Koreans are attacked by masked assailants in Seoul. A reference to Hamas Seoul's foreign ministry says Thursday. The video, which is no longer available on the embassy's social media, depicted a distressing scenario in which a South Korean woman in the capital is abducted by an armed assailant on Christmas Day and forcibly separated from her young daughter. The Israeli embassy wrote alongside the now-removed video posted on its Facebook account on Tuesday. On October 7th, Israel was attacked by Hamas terrorists. 1,200 men and women and children were killed and over 240 people were taken hostage in Gaza. Britain on Thursday lifted some costly obstacles placed on school trips post-Brexit, but only for students from France, as campaigners called for all EU countries to benefit. The U-turn follows talks earlier this year over the issue between Prime Minister Rishi Sunak and French President Emmanuel Macron. French and EU nationals at schools in France who cross the Channel for a language learning holiday will now need to carry only a simple identity card, as was the case before the UK formally departed the European Union in 2021. While non-EU nationals attending French schools will still need a passport to enter the UK on a language learning holiday, London has scrapped the need for them to have a visa costing €115. British Educational Travel Association, which has seen demand for school trips tumble since Brexit, described Thursday's changes as a positive step ahead, while urging the UK government to expand them for the entire European Union. You're watching the news cycle live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on Star Times, channel 276. Kindly follow us on all social media platforms using @GlobalTVNG and other handles now showing on your screen. When news cycle returns, Russia reopens embassy in Burkina Faso, closed in 1992. The news continues shortly with details of this and more stories right after this break. Please stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us. This is Global Television bringing you live broadcast of the news cycle. Russian and U.S. space agencies have agreed to keep working together to deliver crews to the International Space Station ISS until at least 2025. Russian corporation Roscosmos says Thursday the space sector, including its so-called cross-flight that involves sending crews from different nationalities on one spacecraft is a rare area of cooperation remaining between Moscow and Washington since Russia sent troops to Ukraine. It also aims to guarantee the presence of at least one representative of Roscosmos on the Russian segment and the presence of at least one representative of NASA on the American segment. Russia said in April that it plans to use the International Space Station until 2028, an apparent reversal of an earlier announcement to quit the orbiting laboratory after 2024. Russia on Thursday reopened its embassy in Burkina Faso after a gap of nearly 32 years, the West African nation's government and the Russian diplomats say. The mission was closed in 1992. The Russian ambassador to Ivory Coast, Alexei Saltykov, said Russian President Vladimir Putin would name the new envoy. The Burkinabe Foreign Ministry confirmed this in a statement. Saltykov said he would head the mission in Burkina Faso until the new ambassador is named, and described Burkina Faso as an old partner with whom we have solid and friendly ties. Burkina Faso last year experienced two military coups, both triggered in part by discontent at failures to stem a raging jihadist insurgency. Meanwhile, a Moscow court sentenced a poet on Thursday to 7 years in prison for reciting verses against the Ukraine campaign during an anti-mobilization protest last year. Artyom Kamardin, who is 33, was sentenced alongside Yegor Shova, 23 years old, who also took part in the protest and received a sentence of 5 years and 6 months. Just before his sentencing, a smiling Kamardin recited a poem that refers to poetry as gut-wrenching and is often disliked by people accustomed to order. Russian authorities have detained thousands for simple acts of protest against the offensive in Ukraine, with criticism effectively outlawed. Kamardin said his detention was particularly violent, claiming that officers raped him and forced him to film an apology video while threatening his partner. The Corporate Affairs Commission, CAC, has granted an extension for companies to submit their annual returns, allowing for a revised timeline from 1st of January to 1st of April 2024. This was disclosed in a statement by the Commission on Thursday. According to CAC, the extension was granted as a result of glitches on the company's registration portal, as well as a difference to the micro, small, and medium-scale enterprises MSME sector. The CAC recently released a circular stating their intention to delist 91,843 companies by the month's end for neglecting to submit their annual returns on the Commission's website. However, the Commission highlighted that the penalties are currently on hold for companies who fall within the bracket of the earlier deadline of January 1st, 2023, given that the deadline for submission has been extended to April 1st, 2024. And moving on, Nigerian companies entered the final quarter of the year with a cash reserve of 2.3 trillion naira, the largest cash balance in recent history. This data was compiled from over 30 of the largest companies listed on the Nigerian exchange over the calendar year from January to December. The data excludes commercial banks and insurance companies whose business models allow them to receive cash on behalf of their customers. The cash balances of the companies under consideration represent a 27% increase from the 1.8 trillion reported as cash and cash equivalents at the end of 2022. These companies reported total revenues of 8.5 trillion naira in the period under review. The cash balances underscore the liquidity of Nigerian companies in a year fraught with macroeconomic challenges and subsequent monetary policy tightening. Moreover, this year, the economy recorded its highest money supply in history, surpassing 66 trillion naira by the end of September 2023. And for entertainment updates, we will now be joined by Annamel Chong. So we'll bring you entertainment in our subsequent bulletin. In sports, Tottenham Hotspur's son Heung-min was named in South Korea's Asian Cup squad on Thursday, and coach Jurgen Klinsmann said it was about time they ended their 64-year continental title drought. Wolves forward Hong Shi-han, who scored his 10th Premier League goal of the season against Brentford on Wednesday, was also among Klinsmann's 26-man selection for the tournament, which kicks off in Qatar on January 12th. Son will captain a squad that includes Bayern Munich defender Kim Min-jae and 22-year-old Paris Saint-Germain attacking midfielder Lee Kang-in. South Korea have been drawn in Group E and will face Malaysia, Jordan, and Bahrain in the first round. Granit Xhaka, the Swiss midfielder who spent 7 influential years at Arsenal, is poised for an emotional return to the club. Reports indicate that Xhaka has arrived in London and is expected to be present at Arsenal's clash against West Ham at their home ground. During his tenure with the Gunners, Xhaka notably played a pivotal role in their bid for the Premier League title last season, narrowly missing out on the championship. Despite his integral contributions leading Arsenal back to the Champions League, Xhaka surprisingly sought a move back to the Bundesliga, joining Bayer Leverkusen. His departure, which occurred swiftly, denied him the chance to bid a proper farewell to teammates and devoted fan base that held him in high regard. However, this return fixture against West Ham provides an opportunity for Xhaka to reconnect with his former colleagues and the supporters who embraced him during his time in North London. Nigerian footballer Asisat Oshoala on Thursday presented her award to President Bola Tinubu and First Lady Oluremi Tinubu in Lagos. Asisat won the African Women Footballer of the Year, an annual award for Africa's best female football player. The award was conferred on Asisat in December by the Confederation of African Football. Asisat won the award a record 6 times. She said the presentation was in recognition of the support of the first couple towards her successful outing in the year, and she appreciates the President and the First Lady for giving her the opportunity to present their work to them, adding that they came in to actually help the team out, especially in the area of monitoring after the tournament. For more updates on sports, let's now join Anthony Mamadou.
All right, sports fans, it's time for sports stories. Let's begin from the African Cup of Nations, where Moleya Selah has been left out of the Guinean squad for the upcoming African Cup of Nations after falling out with the manager over a shirt he swapped with Vinicius Junior of Real Madrid. Guinea will kick off their campaign when they take on the indomitable Lions of Cameroon on January 15 before facing Gambia and the reigning champions, the Teranga Lions of Senegal. They will be without midfielder Selah, who has failed to make the squad after reportedly getting into an argument with teammates and the manager after their 4-1 loss to Brazil in June. Following the defeat, the 25-year-old swapped shirts with Real Madrid superstar Vinicius Junior before the shirt mysteriously vanished in the dressing room, and aggrieved Selah started to point fingers at teammates before accusing manager Keba Duwara of theft. All right, let's move on to the tennis court, where former world number 1 Rafael Nadal was back on the court for the first time since his long injury layoff, in a welcome sight for tennis fans ahead of the Australian Open. Nadal, who is 37, has not played professionally since January when he failed to defend his title down under. Back-to-back hip injuries have hampered the Spaniard all year, leading to fears for his playing future. But he is hoping for one final hooray in Australia next month and was moving freely on the court in Queensland on Thursday, where he will play at the Brisbane International. Nadal has previously admitted that 2024 will likely be his last season, where he plans to say goodbye to his adoring fans. All right, still talking tennis. Let's tell you about this man. His name, Carlos Alcaraz. Yes, heir to Rafa Nadal. Let's say that Carlos Alcaraz came from a set down to beat rival Novak Djokovic in Saudi Arabia on Wednesday in an exhibition which doubled up as a dress rehearsal for next month's Australian Open. The world number 2 triumphed 4-6, 6-4, 6-4 to kick off the new season. The two best male players in the world faced off in Saudi desert for the Riyadh Season Tennis Cup. It was a match that swung this way and that, with Alcaraz breaking in the first game, only for Djokovic to reply with 2 breaks of his own to take the opener 6-4. But the Serbian world number 1 lost his serve at the start of the second set too. This time Alcaraz had his nerve to level the match. The Wimbledon champion then took charge of the third set, breaking in the third game, but Djokovic rallied once more, leveling at 3 games apiece before Alcaraz sealed a decisive second break. Let's say that the Spaniard needed 3 bites at the cherry before eventually edging 5-4 ahead. The 20-year-old Alcaraz then closed out the match. All right, let's wrap it up talking boxing. Let's tell you that boxing fans have slammed Ring Magazine's decision to keep hard hitter Deontay Wilder in their top 10 rankings despite his recent defeat to Joseph Parker. The Bronze Bomber has only fought twice since his trilogy defeat to Tyson Fury back in 2021, and fans believe that the American should call it a career. Joseph Parker shocked the world by beating Wilder to a unanimous point victory in Saudi Arabia. Their heavyweight clash went all 12 rounds on December 23rd, with the judges scoring the bout 118 to 101, 120 to 108 in Kiwi's favor. Wilder sits 9th despite his recent dip in form, much to the surprise of many fans. And that's how we call it a wrap on the Sports News Update. I am Anthony Momodu.
And that's it on the news cycle, and it came to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. We're on Star Times, channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms using @Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your screen. I am Queen Agaba. Thank you for watching. See you again.